Hello, so today is going to be a fun one. We're going to go over Rumble Hero Augment. So I have a little bit of a backlog from a bunch of older games that I played last patch with some of the hero augments. Hero augments are going to be super meta this patch as well. I think they're working on addressing that in the next update in 2 weeks. So if you're somebody that doesn't like the hero augments like myself, there's hope. If they're working on it, things will get better. And that's all we can really ask for. So that makes me really happy, at least that they're addressing that they want to change some of the way hero augments work. But until then, I'm sure you've seen it. Like Spider Queen Elise is really strong. Blitzcrank's really strong. This one's gonna be about Rumble. I always felt like Rumble was like it's a very awkward of the hero augments to play. I think all of the non-one cost ones are a little bit weird. If they don't fit into a natural board already. And I think that's what happens with Rumble. So here I hit Molten Caramel. That's the Rumble one. Your strongest Rumble deals 190% damage and costs 30 less mana to cast. So you basically make Rumble into a demon. And I'll go over like how to play it roughly, like what people think the best board is, and how you kind of roll down and adjust your board given the circumstances. So typically with Molten, I wouldn't really take Molten Caramel. Here you can see I'm really hesitant because I don't have any Rumbles. This would be my only Rumble that I would take. The only reason I took it is because if you notice on the side, let me just get my inking working, 1 second. If you notice on the side, I had a Jewel Gauntlet. Now Jewel Gauntlet is never really the best item, but it is the best item for Rumble. So if you saw, I'm able to make Jewel Gauntlet. That's the only reason I took Molten Caramel. Jewel Gauntlet is really good with Molten Caramel. That's like one of the most important things. Usually it's Jewel Gauntlet as your items and a Bloodthirster, and then the last one is like a +1. The last one isn't as important. You really want Jewel Gauntlet and Bloodthirster. If you have those two items, you're probably in a good spot to take or play towards Molten Caramel. If you do not have even the components to make those, I would avoid it at all costs. Now I also have a lesser duplicator, so it should be okay to make the Rumble. It should be okay to roll to hit the Rumble. It's just like a matter of how early I hit it, how it kind of tapers out into late game. If I'll be able to very easily get like a first, or if I'll get like somewhere within the top 4, but I feel pretty comfortable that from this spot, even with 0 Rumbles starting, because I know that I have at least one really good item, I can probably pilot it to a top 4, hopefully, and that's kind of my thought process. Anyways, so now let's go over a couple things. The first thing I want to show you guys is, before we go into the stats, just make sure, I want to make my announcement as usual, but make sure to like and subscribe if you like my content. It really helps me as a small creator. And then now let's go to the actual stats. The first thing I wanted to show you was the mid-patch update. So I think this was released today. I wasn't home today. I was out shopping for plants because it's I want to make sure before the winter I have all my little succulents next to my window all ready to go. I'll post updates for those on Instagram usually, so if you're a plant lover, I'll show you how those ones are growing. I'm trying to grow some little cactuses from seeds. Anyways, for the Briar's bug, I didn't notice it yesterday, but people have been talking about it a lot today. I think Briar's bug is fixed, as well as the Pyro bug. The big one is the Rise Static Shift. That's one that I really hated. Is also fixed. And the which one's the one that I was gonna say? The debug text. There's one with items. Yeah, temporary items from select occurrences no longer become permanent. So this isn't related to the video, it's just related to in general, but I'm not going to make like a post or a thing. But I think this is the Fairy Crown bug that I was able to produce on stream, and I told people about it, and I wanted to see it change in the patch notes. So I think that's now gone, so that's really good. And we'd love to see those changes, because I was trying to find a VOD or reproduce it so that I can give it to Mortar, but it seems like they already dealt with it already. So perfect. Anyways, when you're playing Molten Caramel, typically you're playing around. I was gonna show it here just so I didn't have to like play it in. Molten Caramel, as you can look at the board, you're pretty much just rolling for Rumble and Tristana 3. So if you're going your team builder, usually all that you're doing with this board, it's very simple. You're just holding on to every single unit that says Vanguard, because Rumble is a Vanguard. So you're going to try and play towards 6 Vanguard. If you don't know, 6 Vanguard gives durability as well as a giant health max health shield. So it makes your Rumble really tanky. And then because you're rolling for Rumble, you're usually going to roll on level 6. So you want to pick another 2 cost to roll with him, just so it's a little bit efficient. So you're going to go for Tristana. You go for Tristana 3 and you go for Rumble 3. Tristana, I think usually I like to just have a Gwinsu on her, as well as some other damaging item, just because she's going to ramp up really heavily, because the Rumble is going to take a really long time to kill. And then Rumble, the best items for Rumble are Jewel Gauntlet, Bloodthirster, and then +1. The last one isn't as important. Usually it's Rabadons. That's obviously going to be really good. But, you know, Crown Guard, Spark, any AP item is typically going to be okay on the Rumble. So you can play around it as such, and it should be fine. If you look at the actual stats on it, I'll show you. I did a stats guide to try and make it so it doesn't like look as bad when I'm doing stuff like this, because I don't explain myself very well in these day-to-day videos. But with Molten Caramel, you'll see that it averages pretty high as long as you can hit the Rumble 3. It averages above 4.5. It's a pretty good one, especially if you get in the Vanguard trait. So as you can see, you know, 4 Vanguard is okay, but 6 Vanguard is really where you want to aim to be. And then Blaster doesn't matter that much because, like, you know, playing higher Blasters means you're probably not going to be able to fit in some of the other units. But you're usually just going to play Blaster, and then you're going to cap out around Arcana, right? Basically, like, if you could make it to if you're level 7, you're going to be playing your 6 Vanguard and your 2 Blaster with the Tristana Rumble. And then as you level up, because you already have a Tom Kent, you just shove in extra Arcana units that are going to really reach that higher cap for you. And then if you look here, this is the part that's really weird for a lot of people. Jewel Gauntlet's really, really good on Rumble. Jewel Gauntlet, I don't know why. Usually Jewel Gauntlet is pretty ass. But for some reason, it's probably the way that it's coded with the damage, or it's bugged, but I don't think it's bugged. I think it's just the way that the damage is coded for Rumble with the hero augment. Jewel Gauntlet's really, really good. And then you can see there's other items. I usually make Bloodthirster. In the new patch, it says that it's not Bloodthirster. In the previous patch, it was always Bloodthirster, if I'm not mistaken. Like Bloodthirster or Rabadons. I wouldn't greed too much for Rabadons. A lot of times I make Bloodthirster and Spark just because of item economy. But in the current patch, it says that maybe you need Rabadons more so. But it's always Jewel Gauntlet first. And it's really easy to make because usually people usually have a rod, and usually people don't have really like run for gloves on carousel. It's not like the greatest item a lot of the time to not the greatest component to make a lot of items with. So that's a little stats portion, just showing you like the little overview. Basically, for my early game, I usually like to show the early games, but then it delays when I show you guys the little guide portion of how to build the comp. But for my early game, I'm basically losing as much as possible. That's by choice. A lot of the time, I'm not trying to be super strong. I'm trying to 5 loss here to maximize my econ. Usually, getting 5 wins in a row or 5 losses in a row, it will increase the amount of money that you make per round. So it's really good if you're playing a reroll to either 5 win or 5 loss. For me, at least, losing, especially when you're playing like one of these hero augments, is very, very good because stage 2, the damage isn't that much. Look, I 5 lost and I'm at 76 HP and this guy's at 82, right? There's not like a huge separation. Of course, like there's a 20 HP gap between me and first place, but it's a lot better to lose early than it is to lose a lot of the rounds later. You're going to want to stabilize around stage 3 anyways. But the thing is, being low HP early, it sets you up for the first 2 carousels, right? I was first pick on this carousel, so I was able to take a component that translates to a Rumble item here, which is eventually going to be Bloodthirster. That's what I'm prioritizing as my second item, just because I also don't have any rods, and I think that's good just to have a little bit of healing at this point. And then what's the next step is that this carousel coming up, right? Stage 3 or 3-5 or whatever carousel number it is. The carousel, I'm going to be low HP, so even if I'm not first pick, I'm probably going to be at worst second pick, which helps me a lot in getting another usable item or another usable component. Now, I didn't get anything super great to slam here, which is really unfortunate. I was hoping to either get either like a rod for a Crown Guard, a rod for like a Spark, or some sort of extra item here. My other components are really awful because I'm itemizing my Rumble with mainly attack related things. And then my Tristana also needs attack-related components. Here, I just got a bunch of defensive components, right? I got Belt, Tier, and Chainmail. So I'm in a little bit of an awkward spot in terms of being able to slam an item. I think just to kill the components, I should always make Redemption. Redemption's really good with like really tanky front lines. Just have some damage reduction that basically can give some healing to adjacent allies. So we'll see how it goes. Trade Tracker I think is a little bit bait. It's very easy to play it with like the Rumble Kog'Maw board because you just fit in your 7. But instead I hit category 5. That helps me out a lot because I can Runaan's is pretty good on Tristana. Whenever you're playing like a solo backline unit or one unit that's ramping up in the backline, it helps a lot to give them Runaan's because they'll be able to snipe extra enemies. So as you can see, it's 3-2. I greeted 1 round. I'm going to roll here, hopefully until I hit Rumble 2. It's a little bit awkward because I'm a little bit far behind. I only have 1 rumble. This is how a lot of the hero augments work. It's just because they're broken. This should never be a thing, by the way. You should never be rolling out of nowhere for a unit and just hoping that you hit. So as you can see, I'm rolling really deep. I'm rumble paired. I think that if I really wanted to, I could use the duplicator on the rumble just to secure the rumble too. You really want to win a lot of the fights on stage 3. If you're not winning fights on stage 3, you're going to fall really far behind. Because like I said, you usually lose on stage 2 to guarantee your carousel picks. If you start losing all of stage 3, then you're just going to be like 1 HP start of stage 4. Or 2 lives start of stage 4. And then you're just going to lose out. Because even if you hit your 3 stars, everybody else is going to be able to make it to some giga level, really strong board by the time you actually make it. Now, I did get bailed out a little bit because of category 5. Like I said, this is not like how to play rumble all the time. I did low roll that I didn't hit like the rumble 2 and I rolled like 40 gold. It's a lot of gold that I rolled just to find 1 or 2 rumbles. But like I said, I was taking this from a not guaranteed spot. I would recommend that if you ever take a hero augment, you should always have at least 2 copies of the unit. The only reason this works out, and the only reason this game is probably going to be a top 4, I'm not super scared, is because of how broken rumble is in the hero augment. All the hero augments feel very overtuned, and especially in metas where people are either trying to greed or other people are playing rerolls, you run into this spot where, hey, just taking this hero augment, just clicking D all the time is probably going to be enough to guarantee you a top 4 or get you really close, right? Even if I don't get top 4, I'm probably not going to go much worse than like 5th or 6th this game. Even from a spot this bad, right? I have 2 rumbles. And I'm 20 gold. It's not particularly great. I'm not do as I say, not as I do, but I wanted to give some sort of rumble guide because I hadn't done one and I feel like you should know how to play around it. And what's really crazy is this game, even the whole time I was playing it, I think I was live on stream while I was playing this, I was not scared about bot 4ing in this game because I just understand relative strength of my board compared to like what other people were going. The only problem I have is that one guy is holding on to rumbles because he just decided to play Sugarcraft. He got hit with a Sugarcraft emblem as his second augment pick. When I was scouting, you probably saw it. So that's really bad because now out of nowhere, like that guy can just has the free will to hold a bunch of rumbles and grief me. But it's not a big issue. Here I'm just gonna make Bloodthirster probably. I'm gonna go for sword. It's on a 3 cost, which is fine. I'm gonna have 2 rumble items. Kind of greeting this duplicator. I think that what I should have done is I should have rolled till around 30. I know having a duplicator is like, yes, it makes it really easy for you to hit. Oh, sorry, he started with a Sugarcraft emblem. Okay, so that's my bad. I missed it on the first go. He started with a Sugarcraft emblem. I knew I'd always get griefed. I wouldn't recommend taking this if you see somebody with a Sugarcraft emblem. That's a separate issue. My bad. Oopsie. I'm rolling till 30 every single round. Because I'm just greeting this duplicator to try and hit the rumble. I really want the duplicator to be the last rumble. It's always hardest to find the last rumble than it is to find the first rumble that you see. I won the rounds anyways, but I'm rolling till 30 just to make sure I have rumble 2. Now I basically just sit for most of the game on level 6 until I can find Tristana 3 and rumble 3. I'm basically going to try and econ my way back up to 50 and then hopefully slow roll on 50, gather a charm every single turn, and then cap out around Xerath if I can reach the Xerath later. Like I said, my spot isn't particularly good here, but the hero augment is broken. A lot of these mid-game boards are not going to be able to compete with it. The way you should think about it is that Rumble as a 2-star upgrade and Tristana as a 2-star upgrade is going to be as good as most rerolls, right? Besides like a 1-cost reroller like a Zoe Ari line or other 1-cost rerolls like a Nomsy line, most of the lobby, even if they're playing reroll, is only going to have at best a bunch of upgraded units on their board. So because I have an upgraded unit that is giga juiced by some broken augment that's very, very strong, my upgraded unit is going to be stronger than all of their upgraded units, so I should win every single round in a pretty convincing manner. That's what makes the hero augments really, really broken. It's not only that them being really strong, it's that you don't really lose to anybody in your mid game, which allows you to set yourself up really, really well for late game, so long as you have a decent spot for it. As I said before, my spot wasn't particularly good for it. I wouldn't take this video and say force rumble every single game, easy elo, whatever. I think that, you know, in my spot, I had Jewel Gauntlet. I decided to take the risk of trying it out, and it worked out for me in this game because eventually I do end up hitting Rumble 3 with enough time to make it to a top 4. And all I'm really playing for is a 4th. I'm not taking the augment saying it's broken and showing you how to get a 1st in this game. Obviously, if you're playing for 1st, you should have probably started with 2 rumbles and good items at the beginning. right? I still have these components that I don't know what I'm doing with. I should always probably slam Redemption here. I think the only reason I'm not is because what if I make some other AP item with this? If you do look though, I have a lot of Tristanas, right? In rolling a lot of gold, I did find a lot of Tristanas instead of the Rumble. I just found 2 more right now. So I'm pretty close to Tristana 3, which is a really strong stabilization point. I just need a secondary item on her now, which is the only thing. Once I have another item on her, this belt could be a guard breaker, for example. That's good enough. I would ideally have liked a Gwinsu just so she can ramp up and then with the Rudan snipe some of the back line. But it's fine. These items are a little bit awkward. Like, it's probably just another Runans on the Tristana. I'd probably make a secondary Runans here. A secondary Runans and then anything, really. Yeah, it's probably just another Runans. You can see I'm like struggling. I'm struggling to decide because I think all my options are pretty bad. I have no other rod item. You want to make an AP item on the Rumble, which I don't have, so it's a little bit unfortunate. But I should have made Redemption earlier. I think it was always going to be Redemption because there's very few other items you can make with a tier in this comp, right? Tristana doesn't want any tier items. You probably don't want any tier items on the Rumble. And now I'm stuck with these 2 items. I kind of just resolve myself to saying, I'll just make an item over here. I'll either make like a secondary Bloodthirster or I'll make a Crown Guard, which I'll be happy with. It's good enough. Just give me some AP and some tankiness. I'm okay with that. Here I'm fighting an Elise 3. This was before, by the way, before the recent patch. So be warned, right? Like things like this Elise would be a little bit stronger. So I would have probably lost this fight this patch. Just saying. So take note of it. Mentorship. I don't think this is the game where I took support Anvil. There's one of these games where I took support item and it was so bad. If this is the support item one, or sorry, if this is the it's probably just teaming up. Yeah. Okay, there was one that I took an Orn artifact and I put a really bad Orn artifact on the Rumble and I went 5th. But that was just my bad because I just misplayed really badly. You can also hold on to Gallios to hit maybe Gallio 3. That's why I'm itemizing the Gallio. Ideally, you can level and then roll for Mordekaiser 3, which is a little bit better. But we'll see how it goes. Here I'm just rolling a little bit. I'm basically going to slow roll 50. I reestablished my econ. That's why like I wasn't too scared about sending it on stage 3. Like 3-2. Because as you can see, I'm level 650 again. I'm very close to Tristana. I'm not very close to Rumble, so it's a little bit scary, but I do have this duplicator, so I feel somewhat comfy. I'm just going to slow roll 50 until I'm at danger of death. As you can see, I've been win streaking. I won the last 5 rounds. I do expect to lose a couple rounds this stage, but I do have a lot of HP, right? I'm 67 HP. The highest HP is 74, right? I'm not that far behind, and as you can see, Rumble, 2-item Rumble is just burning his way through everybody. Especially if people are going for like 3-cost rerolls, right? Like this Viger player probably will have a tough time against me just because I have such a strong front line. And then eventually I probably will drop Fairy just because as soon as you level up to level 7, as soon as you're level 7, you're trying to play 6 Vanguard, right? That's the big thing. 6 Vanguard, just make your Rumble really, really tanky. You want your Rumble to live as long as possible. On 1-off Tristana, I found a Tahm Kench, perfect. Reroll with 2 costs. I find the Tristana 3. That's good enough. Even though I don't have Rumble 3, Rumble did his job for the most part in this game already, right? He won me most of stage 3 just being a hero augment and just being broken. So all of stage 3 was dealt with. I'm basically the only person win streaking. I'm the highest HP. I have a decent amount of gold. I still want to roll for Rumble on level 6. Did I put in Tahm Kench, and I'm holding on to the Warwick and the Blitzcrank because as soon as I level up, I'm going to drop, I think I still have a Lilia in. Just like a random fairy unit to give me the fairy +1, the fairy crown for my Tristana. As you can see, other boards, they're starting to get stronger. This guy's playing a level 6 reroll. My Rumble kind of griefed and went to the back line. Maybe Tristana can clutch it out. I don't think so, though. Ooh. No. Oh, she clutched it. That's a Gwen diff. Gwen Dispatch definitely clutches that. But as you can see, we'll drop the fairy crown and we'll go for a 3rd Tristana item eventually. If we can level, you can really cap out really high with a Milio as well, right? Milio gives Fairy Crown, but also Milio will give a bunch of items to all your other Vanguards, which will make them even more tanky, because you're just going to have like this impenetrable wall. That's the idea. And then Tristana is really good as a backline unit because sometimes with solo backline units, they get like griefed. Tristana does this thing where she pushes back anybody that tries to dive her. So it's actually really, really nice, because if someone tries to dive the Tristana, she has really good like self-sufficiency. She can do really well at like keeping herself alive. Now, it didn't work out. I'm like last pick on carousel, and all the rods are gone. I'm still just 2-item rumble. So, you know, it's looking a bit stressful. I do expect to lose fights this round, like this part of the stage, because I am really behind on these rumbles. But that's why I'm rolling till 50. I'm slow rolling. I'm doing it very cautiously. Maybe I hit the Galio and I just thin out the pool, so I'm down to like buy a couple Galios. Hit Galio 3 is fine. I don't think Galio 3 does that much, by the way. I feel like it's usually a waste of gold to play around Galio 3. Almost always Galio 3 disappoints me, so I am totally down to just like can it and just like stop gold. So I wouldn't be surprised if during this game, if I drop below a certain amount of gold, I start selling Galios. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. As you can see here, I think I was holding some Akali's. I'm not sure if I was trying to grief this guy. There was one game, I don't know if it was this one, but there was one game where somebody started holding my units, and I started holding their units, and then they sold, and then I sold. If that's what happened here, that's what happened here. I usually don't grief people unless they're directly griefing me. I feel like holding extra units, just you're going to forget about them. It's going to cost you econ a lot of the times. It costs you rolls. It costs you a lot. So you should only grief somebody if it's directly affecting your placement. So for example, if I'm playing for first and there's a guy in second place, you know, there's a good reason for me to grief the guy in second place, because I want to make sure that guy in second place doesn't spike and then overthrow me and win the game in my place. That's the idea behind it. I like to say that sometimes because, like, you know, whenever I see griefing or when I talk about griefing, I want it to be like, you know, I want my stance to be clear, because, you know, a lot of times I complain about stuff like that, but I don't want to come across as hypocritical if you see me griefing on why I'm doing it, if that makes sense. So, item economy, this can be a Tristana item. I'm really hoping to get a rod or something, some sort of item I can put on this rumble. He's still 2 items. Rumble 2, as you can see, super stable. Of course, some of these boards are a little bit suboptimal. I am fighting a Rise board with a Rise 2, though, so, you know, can't really complain about the Rumble's positioning. And I almost won this, right? That came down to Portal RNG. If the Portal wasn't a bomb, my Rumble 100% is eating this guy for lunch. So I lost this fight. This fight was almost won, and it was lost on Portal RNG. That's how strong the hero augment is, and that's why they're really annoying to deal with a lot of the time. Of course, I can just lose if I don't hit this Rumble 3 very soon, like, it's already going to be Stage 5. Stage 5, not even close to Rumble 3, I will drop very fast, right? Even if I hit the Rumble 3, as you can see, there's people that are going to level 9, there are people that are level 8 boards, everybody's still alive because it's a very close lobby, so nobody spiked super hard, and that's why I've been getting away with murder with this Rumble. I also got really lucky with my support item, that it's something that I can really use on my front line. A lot of the frontline vanguards utilize AP really well, and the AP helps my Rumble out a lot, right? Because I'm basically getting AP and mana from my support item, and I otherwise wouldn't have had a good Rumble item. Here I guess I just make Hodge, yeah. Anything that gives some sort of AP, I don't think this is a good setup, obviously. If you look at the stats, I'm basically gonna roll really deep here. I just want to find my Rumble 3 and level for 6 Vanguard. So I'm gonna roll until I find the Rumble, basically. I'm 1 off, so I have it now. I can level. I duplicate first just in case I'm too slow. Yeah, so I was too slow to level here. If I don't win this fight, it's a level diff. Obviously, my items aren't the greatest on the Rumble. My third item at least, but the first 2 that I think are the most important, I think the Jewel Gauntlet and the Bloodthirster are really important. I think that stats say all the time that Rabadon's Jewel Gauntlet is good, but if you look at that and then you don't have a Bloodthirster, I feel like the Rumble just dies way too fast. You really need some sort of Omnivamp on him. So I feel like it's just fake to just, like, you know, you shouldn't prioritize Jewel Gauntlet Rabadons. You should always prioritize like Jewel Gauntlet, some sort of healing. Bloodthirster is the best. Excuse me. And then your last item. And your last item isn't as important as those first 2, in my opinion, obviously. And I don't think if you do, like, I don't think you can do it the opposite way. I don't think you can do Rabadon's Jewel Gauntlet and then just, like, whatever third item. It's like you need some sort of healing. So I always prioritize the healing, and then if I don't get Rabadons, it's fine, whatever. I'll just put a third item on him. I love when I put in Arcana. I think I should drop Fairy and just play the 6 Vanguard. I think I'm just greeding a little bit. So I put in Arcana. This gives a little bit of extra durability. The attack damage doesn't matter that much, but it could help my Tristana a little bit, so I'm down. And my augments worked out really well, right? I didn't get griefed with the support item. The Runans is really good. The double Runans on my Tristana, and I'm just running people over. This poor guy, I don't know what board he was playing, but he's level 7. Feels bad. I'm sorry. The game isn't balanced very well in my... Or, sorry, the game's balanced fine, but, like, you know, the hero augments are a bit egregious. I am very behind, though, right? I'm level 7. I could just go straight to level 8 and play around level 8. The problem is that I think other people, like some of these guys, they're definitely greeding and they're going to be like a super high cap board. As soon as I start to play with like units, boards that have legendary units, boards that have multiple 3 stars that are really hard for me to chew through, right? There's another hero augment in the form of the Blitzcrank that I haven't seen in a really long time that I'm sure is going to be way stronger than me. So I expect to drop like a rock. Like I said, it wasn't a good spot for Rumble in the first place. So if your lobby is a lot more competitive, you start dropping a little bit sooner. I did scam a couple of fights as well. I should be around 40 HP right now. Take that into consideration. I got really good fight RNG on a couple of the fights, and that helped me a lot. And I also got really good augment, right? This is definitely going to be a double Runan's diff with the Tristana. This guy is not even close to hitting Vigor 3, so he's significantly weaker. He probably low rolled trying to find the Blitzcrank as well. Here, what am I looking for? I can take anything. I probably want to take Spark just to make my Rumble damage a little bit better because I don't have any Shred. Rumble does a little bit of anti-heal if I'm not mistaken, but it's not like real anti-heal. But if I have the option, I'll take one of those. If not, probably just this. Even Shroud? It's Even Shroud or... Oh, that guy took Even Shroud. So I just take a tank item, I guess. I can itemize Mordekaiser. I don't have 6 Vanguard in. I think it's a mistake. Obviously, if I had a Tristana item, I can make a Tristana item. If I have a... I feel kind of awkward dropping Fairy for Vanguard right now because I feel like Tristana is doing so much damage that I need it. My front line isn't dying that fast anyways. So here I put in Sugar Crab. I should just put in Vanguard now. I don't know why. Because now I fit in Fairy and 2 Vanguard. Like, I think I lose this, and I play Vanguard. Because I made it to level 8. It might just be a dizzy thing. Yeah, I think this round's a mistake. If I lose this round, it's entirely my fault. I think 6 Vanguard, I'm a demon. My Rumble just, like, absolutely shit on his whole board. Did you see that? He clumped right in front of my Rumble and just sprayed them all for, like, 1,000 damage. That was so funny. Ooh, this Fiora is looking saucy. Oh, yeah. That's what... remember, see what happened is the Fiora dove and the Tristana pushed her back. This is why I love having Tristana as a backline unit. She might not be, like, the highest DPS, but holy shit, does she get the job done sometimes. Like, actually. Actually gets the job done. Also, I should just lose... Like, I'm playing Preserver. That's why I have these 2 in, by the way. So I have this in for Sugarcraft, and I have these 2 in for Preserver, and it gives my Tristana the Fairy Crown. I don't think Preserver and Arcana is that important. I think it's better just to play 6 Vanguard. Right? I think this setup works out okay. I think like the setup you see here is fine. But if I lose a round, it's probably a 6 Vanguard diff. Right? Like if I lose this round, it's probably because my front line will be so much stronger with the extra Vanguard trait. Right? Because I get durability. So even though, like, this guy gives a little bit of durability and attack damage, the attack damage isn't that important. But the durability that I would get from this Hecarim, I would get from 6 Vanguard. Right? That's what I mean. It's like, it doesn't make sense what I'm doing here. See, like, my front line died first. I think that fight was a 6 Vanguard diff, right? I'm pretty sure if I had 6 Vanguard, it was fine. But anyways, I'm rolling every turn for Charm. I don't really think I'm going level 9. I should just lose these 2. Like, straight up. I should have done that a while ago. And then if I get a Tristana item, I can even lose this guy, so I can keep the Hecarim. And then that's way better as a cap. It might just be because I was live streaming that, like, sometimes I make bad mistakes like this. But it's not like the end of the world. It's just not ideal. It's not ideal what I'm doing here. I also have a remover and a reforger, so in the worst case, if I get like a Rabadons off of this dragon, I can even fix my rumble items. Ooh, spark. I probably just take spark here. Yeah, I just take spark. I don't have a last Tristana item, which sucks. Oh, spatula gives me sugarcraft. Yeah, okay, I'm down. And then I could lose the other two. Yeah, just get sugarcraft in. It's not that important, but it's a little bit of sauce. And then Blitzcrank over Hecarim. Blitzcrank over Hecarim. Blitzcrank over Hecarim. I probably should have sugarcraft. No. Why am I so reluctant? I think it's just because I really want the fairy crown. Oh, I think that's a huge mistake. I was even telling you guys you should always play 6 Vanguard. This might have been really old. Maybe it's so ingrained in my head to play 6 Vanguard because of how badly I messed up this game in particular. Anyways, I'm fighting Morgana too. 5 Preserver. It's going to be really hard for me to deal with this. So, obviously, I'm getting waxed right now. But this guy's level 9. Level 9, good augments. It's going to be really hard for me to keep up. And as you can see, I lost 2 rounds. After winning like 10 in a row, I lost 2 rounds. And I'm already like 26 HP ready to go bot 4. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's like a guaranteed third. Yeah, I should have done this turns ago. I should have done that turns ago. What the fuck am I doing sometimes? Yeah, and I can still keep this in. Who cares about the Hecarim? Yeah, we're fine. I should have done that like 2 turns ago. This is okay, sure. But as you can see, not the optimal, like, you know, obviously I'm not like triple bis this guy. I'm not triple bis on the Tristana, but I'm in a decent spot. This guy's what? He's 4 Pyro, Briar, Nora 2, level 9. Little buddies, I think, is the thing here that makes him really strong. I'm holding Varus because this guy looks like he's going for Varus 3. I might be clone. Do I beat his clone? I don't even think I beat his clone. Because I'm having trouble chewing through this Nasus. Yeah, the Nasus has fucking insane items, by the way. Double healing. Yeah, it's probably just a third. This guy didn't die. If this guy died, I was kind of going for a second. But instead, he cashes out Sugarcraft. That's the Sugarcraft guy. So that's not good for me. Doesn't he have a Radiant item now? Like, I'm pretty sure I fight him and he has a Radiant item. Man, if I just had 6 Vanguard in, isn't this a second? Because there was one fight that I probably would have won with 6 Vanguard instead of the shit that I was playing. Yeah, he has Radiant Rabadon's Gwen now. That's not good for me. I kind of threw away a placement. Even in my bad Rumble spot, I'm pretty sure this should have been a second. Because the thing is that there was the one fight I didn't play 6 Vanguard, and that dropped my HP a little bit too low. Because even if I lost this round, I would have probably lived 1 more, and then I would have been more HP than this guy. Because look how close this is, right? It's okay. This guy kind of deserved it, right? No hero augment 1 in this lobby. That's a good day for TFT. Ooh, another Sugarcraft for that guy. Ooh, I think that guy's going to win out. Even though the other guy's win streaking. That's totally fine. Let's see the final verdict of the score, and then I'll give my final thoughts. So, the main thing with me, hero augment's very, very strong, obviously. I'm trying to get, I don't know what I'm talking about on my stream. Okay, there we go. So, what's the main takeaways? You're usually playing 6 Vanguard. You can drop the Fairy Crown. I didn't have a Tristana item the whole game. My items were kind of a little bit awkward to play around. As you can see, I have like a Bramble Vest, a D-Claw. I have all these tank items, right? I already have like a Giga Tank. I don't need to itemize other 2-star tanks. It's really useless. So, usually you're itemizing Tristana, but usually you're playing 6 Vanguard with Tristana, plus Trist. And then you level for Arcana. I didn't get to show it very well, but let's say you make it to level 9. Because you're buying a lot of charms because you're re-rolling Rumble, you just play, what's his name? You play, Heck, plus what's his name? Xerath, right? Because you're already playing Tom Kent, you're gonna have Arcana active anyways, so you can just stack vertical Arcana and just increase the overall damage, just give them a little bit of extra damage in the form of true damage. And because you're 6 Vanguard, you're gonna have this impenetrable wall. Tristana's really good at sustaining herself because she bumps people away really well, and that's usually how you cap out the board. I think you can drop to 4 Vanguard if you get like a lot of 5 costs as well. I've seen it done where you play 4 Vanguard late game and then you play like Morgana 2. Right? you play like Morgana 2 plus Bard, like you do some crazy shit. Like you have a little bit of flexibility, because at one point, if your front line's getting deleted too hard and you have a surplus of gold and you're level 9, you can probably do something like pivot into a couple legendary units where you can easily fit in like a Briar 2 or a Camille 2 or a Morgana 2, a Milio 2. Like there's lots of options for you to like fit in some extra quality units, but for most of your game it's gonna look something like that. Roll on 6, level to 7, put 6 Vanguard in on 7. Usually you have a third Tristana item anyway, so you can remove the Fairy Crown, and then you can push levels for Arcana and other stuff past level 7. Anyways, hopefully that was interesting and enjoyable, and hopefully you learned something. You tried something. You can try this out in your own time. Thank you, and make sure to enjoy your day and have a great rest of your evening if you're watching this at night. Thank you. Bye bye.